Hey everybody. Thank
Hi,
you so much.
Nisha. Hi.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm just trying to wait for members to arrive, and when they do, we will get started.
Sure, no problem. I have a friend named Olympia. She lives in
Hey
the
everybody.
she lives in the neighborhood.
Thank you so much for joining. I'm just trying to wait for members to arrive, and when they do, we will get started. Why is it doing that?
I have a friend named Olympia. She lives in
Hey
the
everybody.
she lives in the neighborhood. Yeah, there's some sort of lag in the sound.
Why is it doing that?
I have a friend named Olympia. She lives in
Hey
the Yeah, there's some sort of lag in the sound. Is there a link for observers? Is there a Zoom link, Tanisha? This is crazy.
Hello?
There's some sort of lag in the sound.
It's still doing it. Yes, there's a link. I'm gonna send
Is
it to you
there
on the
a link
back end,
for
but let me find
observers?
out why
Is
this
there
is
a Zoom
doing
link,
this.
Tanisha? Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah, give me a second.
It's crazy.
Hello?
There's some sort of lag in the sound.
It's still doing it. Yes, there's a link. I'm gonna send it to you on the back end, but let me find out why this is doing this.
Olympia, can you put it in the chat?
Yeah, give me a second. Hello? Okay. I think we might be good. And the volume is all the way up. Yeah. Leonie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
I
can
can't
hear
hear
you.
you. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let me lower this. The volume. Who said was who said was coming? Leonie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in the community and she wants to listen in, but I didn't want to give her my panelist Zoom link.
Okay, so what's her name you said?
Olympia Kazi.
Okay. Because I have Brianna in the chat with her hand up, so I'm trying
And
to
she
figure it
wants
out.
to listen in, but I
It's
didn't
still doing it.
panelist. Yeah, it's crazy. Zoom link.
Why are here two people? Okay, so it's repeating back everything that we said.
Olympia Kazi.
Okay. Because I have Brianna in the chat with her hand up, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Listen in.
It's still doing it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
Okay, so we'll get back to y'all. We're having technical difficulties. We're gonna try to fix. Okay. Because I have Brianna in the chat with her hand up, so I'm trying to figure it out. It's still doing it. Okay, so we'll get back to y'all. We're having technical difficulties. We're gonna try to fix. Okay. Because I have Brianna in Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think it might be okay now.
Seems
I muted
okay.
everybody. Could have been somebody's microphone. I muted everybody.
Oh,
So I don't know if that's what it is. It sounds a little bit better now. Well, it's like a delay, so. And I don't have anything open. It's only
give it a
Zoom.
minute.
Should I pause it a little bit?
It was happening before I pressed.
Okay, well, we'll try it again. Hey, everybody. Leonie, let me get, can you tell your friend to go to our website, Community Board 12? Or hold on, let me see if I can bring it up for you to put in the.
I looked at the website. They don't have a link, but they accept to YouTube, but maybe that's,
Tell your friend to go to.
yeah,
No,
she's,
there's a link there. It's still doing it.
Website,
Community Board 12.
yeah, it's crazy.
All right.
Are you using AI companion? or
I
anything?
see it open down here. Is that something that is used to take
new.
notes?
It is.
Oh, then that's why. Did you hit something to take notes?
No.
Okay. Let me minimize this so I can show him. He knows. I have no idea what that is.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
I see it open. I saw it open.
Go back to the Zoom.
Look at it right here. But when I go click it, it says it's gonna turn off the webinar. So that's why I didn't touch that one.
It doesn't look like it's signed in here, but maybe here on the Zoom.
Hi. Hello. Welcome.
He's presenting tonight.
They can
Biobot?
sit over here. You sit over here.
So far it looks fine.
The
Yeah,
thing
it
is
looks
my
good.
live stream, no, right?
No, it should-
So we should be better.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully. Leonie, Crystal put the, thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Is it still delayed and muffled, Crystal? Leonie, can you hear us?
It sounds okay now. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. We'll wait and see. Well, I am happy to see that I have people here that's attending from the community and presentations. Now, if the members would just come, we would be ready to go. Really?
The train is running really cold.
Yeah.
All the way from Texas. Maybe.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on mute and we're gonna give the members a few minutes to get here. Thank you for your patience.
Mm.
So yes, hello. Welcome to our first. Can somebody pass me one of those agendas? Thank you. To our first community board, youth and education. My member is here. To our first community board 12 youth and education meeting of 2026. So great to have you all here. Looks like we're gonna have a packed house. I love that. My name is Tanisha Grant. I am the chair of the Youth and Education Committee, and I am the second vice chair of Community Board 12. We welcome you all. I would like my members to introduce themselves before we get started. Stefan.
Sure. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm Stefan DeJesus. I'm a first year community board member, Washington Heights resident, and really happy to be on the Youth and Education Committee. I always like to say my parents are teachers because they are. And that really informs the way that I approach education and ensuring that our youth have the resources they need to thrive. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Stefan. D.
Big D.
My name is D, born and raised in Inwood, Washington Heights. Executive director of Sports and Health in the City, nonprofit program that I founded here in District 6. First year board member as well, and proud to be on this team with everyone here, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, darling.
Hi everyone, welcome members of the board. My name is David Cornell. This is my second year as executive board member. I'm a resident of Washington Heights. I've been here since 2014. And love being here. I work in workforce development for youth and adults across New York City with the labor movement and tons of CPLs across the board.
Thank you. So, we do not have quorum at this time. So we cannot approve the agenda, but hopefully, Hector will get on. He is exempt, so he can join virtually. And we will have quorum. Now, the first thing that we have up is, elected officials updates. And I just saw Carmen, but she dropped off. Hopefully, okay, there she go.
I'm here.
So
Hello.
this is our amazing councilwoman, Ms. Carmen De La Rosa, who was just voted in for another 4-year term, and we are very, very excited about that. Yes, we are. Look, you're getting claps. We love you, sis. But anyway, she is here to give us a little report on what, we're about to go into legislation session. Legislation session is coming up for the state, and I feel like it's always up for the city. Our legislation budget is due April 1st for the state, and our legislation budget is due for the city in June. And this is funding and all of those other good things. So Carmen, we would love to hear what you're thinking about this year for education so we can work together on it.
Great. Well, thank you all first for having me. Happy New Year. It's exciting to be here. Congrats, Tanisha, on the elevation of position at the board. And I'm looking forward to continuing to partner with all of you. As you all know, I'm a public school parent. My kid is over here in the background somewhere. I have a sixth grader at 278. And, you know, for me, it's an honor to be able to support our schools in the district. You know, I'll give a little bit of a background about over the last few years, what we've been focused on and some of the things that I think are coming down the pipe. Obviously, the council is in the middle of a transition. We just elected a new speaker yesterday, Councilmember Julie Menet from the Upper East Side. And, you know, we are in the process of being appointed or assigned to committee chairs. Last session, we enjoyed the leadership of Councilmember Rita Joseph, and it is to be determined if she will continue to be the education chair. But one thing is true about my sister Rita Joseph is that even if she's the chair or not, she will continue to advocate, as she likes to say, as a forever legislator in the council. And she's been an instrumental partner for me in understanding sort of the frameworks and the challenges ahead in our education system. And as you all know, we also have now a new schools chancellor under Mayor Mamdani. So, you know, we are looking forward to making those relationships and making sure that District 6 is obviously prioritized in the district. So I want to talk a little bit about what we've been focusing on in the last few years and what is to come. Obviously, you know, the last 4 years flew by. We have 4 more years to accomplish some big agenda items. As you all saw today, the mayor and the governor both announced an expansion of universal childcare, which includes 2K. So for 2-year-olds, for our youngest learners, still details to be determined exactly as to how that will roll out. But the hope is, and I think the policy goal here is to create additional access to early childhood interventions and to early education. We will be watching to make sure that things like intervention for children who need them, who are part of our special education and are going into special education, are prioritized. For our district, I'm always looking at services for English language learners, because we have a huge population of English language learners. And obviously you all saw the report last year that 154,000 students in the DOE are in transitional shelters. So that is going to sort of couch the priorities for how we navigate this session. I want to talk a little bit about some of the supports we have been able to bring into the district. You know, we also, in conjunction with universal childcare, have been having this conversation about universal after school. It hasn't taken as much political flight as universal childcare conversation has, but in communities like ours, universal after school is, I would argue, equally as important, because as working class communities, we know that parents are looking for opportunities for their children, but also our children deserve enrichment programs that expand beyond just a regular school day. So I've been so honored to be able to support 17 schools in our district with CASA. So those are cultural after school programs, which are partnerships between organizations like the People's Theaters Project, Alvin Ailey, Ballet Hispanico, Jazz Power Initiative, H2O, to bring in and sort of close the gaps for some of those schools that do not have the budget or the resources to connect with traditional after school providers. So we're really trying to close the gaps in some of those schools. You know, we're looking forward this year to fighting for an enhancement of CASA so that more schools can qualify and have more robust after school. We've also been looking at health in our schools and talking a lot with our schools about healthy eating and a healthy eating curriculum. I've also been proud to support food pantries within our schools as we talk about families in transitional shelters. Hunger continues to be a major problem in our schools. And so trying to fight that back with being able to provide families with meals. And I've been happy to partner up with organizations like Gotham Food Pantry, Uplift. We also, Chef Greg and the Westside Campaign Against Hunger. And then one of the things I've been personally focused on is restorative justice practices in school climate conversations. So I was proud that we were able to support the Morningside Center with a district-wide, so District 6-wide restorative intervention curriculum, which is designed to improve like school climate and to reduce punitive practices to make sure that there's like restorative justice conversation happening in our schools, conflict resolution that impact the school, but also the community outside of the school, training and coaching for educators, and policy alignment, where we examine sort of the structure of discipline policies in schools, which we know have traditionally had disproportionately impact on communities of color. And so I'm excited to continue to support the Morningside Center and those initiatives. And then we've obviously done a lot of work around capital investments. Our schools in the district are really old, and a lot of the schools need funding for upgrades like playground upgrades, auditorium upgrades, cooling system upgrades, technologies. So I'm proud that we've been able to allocate over $14 million in capital funding to invest in our schools, including the creation of the first in the district game room, a maker space, and expanding opportunities for student engagement and creativity through the use of things like music rooms and studios in the high school for media and for media at George Washington High School campus. And then obviously civic engagement is something that I wouldn't be where I am if we didn't encourage our children to also be engaged. And so I've been excited that we've been using the participatory budgeting process to get our students involved in actually advocating for themselves, not only with us, but they've actually met with city agencies to advocate for projects, mostly inside the schools. And so I've been excited to partner with community board members and school community to make sure that those programs continue to happen. And then I want to say that this year we're also going to be looking at mental health services in the school. I'm looking forward to having conversations around crisis management initiatives and giving students and families support services for well-being, stress management, and other things. I would be remiss if I didn't mention, because I see our friend Lady Hampson on the phone, who has been such an advocate for the class size mandate. And so I'm sure you'll hear from her later, so I won't talk too much about it. But I will say that we visit every school in the district. We make an effort. It's called Carmen Visits. I visit every school in my district, and I try to visit them every year. And so we're starting that up again. And one of the things that we hear again and again is about the class size mandate. And, one of the big lessons I learned early on, which led me to meet advocates like Tanisha Grant when she held me accountable for voting for that bad budget, is that, our schools enrollment numbers really impact what resources come into our schools. And in District 6, we have some schools that are completely at capacity, and we have some schools that have suffered for years with under enrollment. And so making sure that this class size mandate is rolled out in a way that is equitable and that makes sense for the district is super important. So I'm looking to leaders like Lonnie and others, Lainey and others, to make sure that we're doing it right. And so
that is why she is here, Councilwoman.
Exactly. I know. I'm going to stay on and listen in, but that's sort of what I had. I'm happy to answer questions, and obviously I'll be staying on for the meeting and just listening in and taking notes.
First of all, I want to say that's why it's so important that, you or one of your staff come here so we can hear about all the amazing work that your office is doing and support it. In partnership, have you support the things that we are doing. And, Leonie and, class size is a big part of that. And I really would love for us to get together in partnership and maybe write a resolution on universal after school. Cause this is something that I'm impacted by. I have 4 artistic grandchildren and they can't access after school programs. And that has a lot to do with busing, which we will be talking about tonight too. We have 2 resolutions on, our agenda, and it's so great to have you here. So I will turn it over to my member and people in the audience, our public in the audience. If you have any questions for our council member, first the members, Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for being here, Councilwoman. Quick question. This is a tremendous amount of work that you are taking on behalf of our community. So how can we best support your work so we can align vision and objective always in the same place?
Yes. Well, first of all, that's, one of my favorite things to do is to connect the community to the ways in which government advocates for us, for our communities, for our students. We have a co-governance project that is happening in our district. We're happy to tell you more. Tanisha knows all about it, and we'll loop you into what's happening there. But in addition to that, I always say to the community, this work cannot happen. I cannot do this work by myself. The community is our eyes and our ears. So if there are things that you're concerned about in your school community, if there are things that you think as a council we should be looking at, please reach out to us. Obviously, we have a social media presence. You can always email us, send us a note, come visit us. And just keep yourself involved. You're already taking a big step by being part of the community board. We have enjoyed an amazing relationship with Community Board 12. I'm excited to welcome the new chair, Anthony Viola, as well. And so I'm looking forward to continuing this partnership. So any way that you want to be involved, we welcome you. Please reach out. Tanisha has my information. She's happy to share it with folks, and just let us know how we can be helpful in your particular school community.
Thank you.
That's it.
You're happy? Oh, look. So any questions from our audience, from our members and our community members? Anything anyone want to add about Councilwoman?
No parents will be there soon.
So, first of all, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yes, we got you. Go ahead.
My name is Jorge Diaz. I'm the program director for Grow Up Grow Out. Got my colleague with me, Nando, he has done some work with and so definitely want to, kudos to you for the way you're doing in the community. One thing you mentioned several things, but I don't want to take up time. But one of the things that you mentioned about restorative practices in the community, that's something that we do best. So we're credible messengers, and we come with that mentoring process in mind. We also do school to prison pipeline education. That's really big for our community and our children to understand what that looks like and the correlation between the two. But we're gonna make some time to go meet with you or go to your office and sit down and collaborate to see where we can help you in fulfilling these things you have on your agenda. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I know Professor Joseph, he had introduced me to your organization a few years ago. We actually gave a grant to Catholic Charities for some Credible Messenger work a few years ago when I was in the assembly. And Credible Messenger is important. Unfortunately, in the district, we haven't had success in sort of creating a network that exists in other places like Brooklyn, the Bronx, parts of Harlem. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation and making sure that we can support the creation of credible messengers up here, or fostering credible messengers. So we can't create them. We have to work with the community to foster that leadership that already exists. So.
And the community board, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter of restorative justice programs. We also have someone in the audience online that has a question. Tiana, I'm promoting you.
Hello, Carmen.
Hi, Tatiana.
Happy New Year. So I was wondering if there were any projects like we have done in the past with cleaning the streets or anything that we can do, service projects or that our high school kids or even our middle school kids could support you in terms of civic engagement. I know we have done in the past, but if there's anything that you have planned for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch with me, Tatiana, offline. We always have like civic programs that happen during the year, whether it's peer mentorship or connecting with nonprofits in the district that might be doing some of that work. Or like you said, I know we've partnered in the past for cleanups and things of that nature. We're in the middle of putting our yearly calendar together. So we also every year hold about 55 events, including town halls. So I'm looking forward to partnering with you. And maybe this year, we could have a youth center town hall in conjunction with the community board to talk about some of the issues that impact our youth.
That is wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. And I wanted to say one more thing before I jump or just go mute. When I visit the schools, some of the issues that come up, and I don't want to gloss over it, is some of the safety concerns around our schools. We have been working closely with NYPD and also nonprofit organizations around our schools. I know that, for example, Tatiana and others I've talked to about the presence of narcotic sales and other things in the vicinity of our schools. I have more information that I could share. I'm not going to share it here, but feel free to reach out to my office, and I'm happy to give you more insight about the conversations I've been having with folks around safety around our schools, syringes, marijuana sales, we got a report yesterday from the sheriff's office. We've seen the closure of about 14% of smoke shops in the community. I know it's something that people have emailed our office about in and around school communities. Obviously, there's always a balance with justice impacted communities like ours, but it's important that we're answering the call about the quality of life issues surrounding the schools. One of the things that we've been working with the 34th Precinct on is sort of safe routes to schools in areas where we know that there have been shootings, that there have been incidents, that there's gang violence, so that we can make sure that our students are safe. So I'm happy to talk more about that offline. So please reach out, and I'm happy to give you more information on what we've been doing.
Thank you, Carmen. Yes, please stay on because there's.
I'm gonna stay on and just mute myself, but I'm here and I'm taking notes.
We got some stuff going on here. You might want to chime in when you hear some of the stuff. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. So I don't see anyone else here from our elected officials, and I will be reaching out to them about that because we have a lot of things that we need to discuss, whether it be our federal elected officials or our state officials. We got to get our butts into gear. So next part of our agenda is our community connection. And I'm so happy to say that we have a lot going on. So the first presentation we are going to have is BioBus. BioBus? Yes, and you have a presentation, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, it's over here. So you can come over here and use the thingy. Here it is. Oh, cool.
All right. Thank you all so much. And can folks on the Zoom call see this too?
No. Can y'all see that? I think you have to share the screen.
Yeah, let me do that. Okay.
Yeah, right there. Right there. There you go.
All right, we're cooking. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey everyone, thank you so much for giving me time to talk tonight. My name is Rob. I'm a director of community science with BioBus. I just recently became the director. I've been teaching with BioBus for the last 10 years. And so I figured I would actually frame this as an introduction to me. Hopefully you've already heard about BioBus, but I'll tell you about both just in case. So this is me. I'm a scientist by training. My background is actually in orthopedics. I studied the spine. I understand why it hurts, but I can't help. I'm sorry. Not that good. But I spent time getting a degree, learning about how the body works, and then I became a teacher. I'm an educator with BioBus. We run lab spaces. We run mobile lab spaces. So at the moment we have 3, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them, but this is me on our first one, probably, 10 years ago, doing my first outreach experiences. So BioBus is mobile science. We bring the BioBus to schools, to after-school programs, and we hire high school and college students to work with us, to do research with us, to get introductory lab skills, and to develop for the workforce in STEM. Myself, I've taught at over 300 visits, schools, and weekend events. BioBus has seen almost. We're going to hit 500,000 sometime this 2026. We'll have seen 500,000 students in New York City, which is extremely exciting. When we started focusing on Harlem and Washington Heights 10 years ago, I was one of the first members, and we built out our impact here, seeing more schools and after-school programs, trying to add to that every year. I've seen us add 2 new buses, so we're up to 3. This is the 3rd bus, BioBus 3. It has not been to a school yet. We just finished it. People came on board in December for the very first time. It is completely accessible. It has movable laboratory stations. Everything's built custom so that students of any age and any ability can use our laboratories. We're really excited to get it into schools and get it out on the street more. And this is our first, all of our vehicles run on solar power for the lab. This is our first electric vehicle. We're really happy to buy into and promote sustainable energy solutions. And our fourth bus will also be electric. So we're hoping to do more and more of this. And I've worked in our lab in Biobase Harlem. It's on 129th and Broadway, opened in 2017. And this was not shortly after that. And we're in the space. It is a space that Columbia owns and they lease to us as a donation. And we're in there almost 170 days a year. So about half the time you'll find us running programs, events, our internships. We run after school programs there where we'll bring in groups, CBOs that work in after school programs, or we'll visit after school sites. We've worked in District 6, we worked at a few sites, most recently with the STEM Institute and at the George Washington campus, but we've worked in lots of sites across Harlem, Washington Heights, and Inwood. And I've had the pleasure of meeting and mentoring over 200 junior scientists. Those are high school or college students who join our programs, who do projects with us, learn the skills of research, and then we try to place in laboratory track positions or medical track positions, or some who decide, I want to be a graphic designer. We try to help them get to their next step, and we support them no matter what. 94% of students who respond to their survey are still in STEM majors or STEM fields, and it's a high demand program. So last year we had 450 applicants. We have 26 spots. We have we have one program that works downtown in Two Bridges, Chinatown, and another up here in Harlem. And it's open to everyone in the city, but 18 of the 20 spots went to Harlem and Washington Heights residents. So we are heavily trying to recruit and build up talent in the STEM pipeline from districts 6 and 5. And so we're happy to do that in our internship. And the internship application is actually one thing I'm here to talk about. It opens on January 15th. Current 9th, 10th, and 11th graders can apply. We do not check resume. We don't care about GPA. We care about curiosity and enthusiasm, the willingness to learn science. Like I said, there are a lot of applicants, but of the 450, just under 100 were from Harlem and Washington Heights. So it's a smaller pool that we're really drawing from for that internship. And I highly encourage high school students, if you know them, to apply. We also have a college program that's open to students who live or go to college in New York City. We'll hire for the summer, and some that we'll hire for the rest of the year through federal work study at CUNY campuses can continue to work with us. So college students can also work with and be mentored by BioBus scientists. I have flyers here, but that's all at biobus.org/internship. And we have a lot of free events coming up. I put these here a few days ago. We just kind of finished our spring schedule, and there's always more coming. But these 5 events are in our lab on 129th Street. These are free and open. We encourage after-school groups to come. 3 on Saturdays, currently 2 scheduled after school, and we expect more. And as the weather gets nicer, the BioBus will be out on weekends more and more, and you'll find us in parks. We work with Northern Manhattan Parks, so we do events in J. Hood Wright. You'll find us at the Wallenberg Playground. So we like to partner and get students out into nature as the weather permits, and then look at things under the microscope.
Northern Manhattan Parks, wow.
I've heard good things.
That's our chair of health and environment, Steve over there.
Nice, a good plug. And the BioBus is a mobile lab for schools as well. So anyone who works with the school or a CBO who wants to book the bus, biobus.org/inquiry. We now have 3 buses. We try to go to every day, try to go to 2 schools so we can see maybe 10 schools in a week, and then do things on the weekend and after school. So there's a cost to bringing the bus, but that's not the price. We work really hard to make it affordable for all the schools we work with. We scale based on economic need. We work with everyone we can to find funding. People, and we appreciate the support from Councilmember De La Rosa and everyone who helps us bring the bus to schools and make it affordable and possible for schools to book us. So I wanted to give you that overview. I have some flyers about our internships and events, and yeah, I hope you get on a BioBus this year.
Well, I'm sure we all have a lot of questions. That's amazing. It's very amazing. And in my personal life, I'm a community organizer, and I will be talking to you off script. But my first question is, how can we help? How can the community board assist with funding? I know Carmen is already on board, but if there's any way that we can assist, getting, other members to fund this, we would love to partner with that. So I'll just leave it there because I know everybody else have questions. So committee members?
Yeah,
Look, she's
no, it's super exciting, I have to say. So you mentioned in one of the slides, you mentioned the students who are hired. Can you explain a little bit about that hiring process, what the requirements are, or, you know, is the salary, I don't know if that's.
Sure, yeah.
But
And so, I'll pull up our high school interns, in terms of requirements, it really is, enthusiasm and curiosity.
okay.
So we look for students, we give preference, everyone can apply and we will consider all applicants, but preference is given to residents in Harlem and Washington Heights, attend public schools. And then we look for, we ask the two questions we ask, or the three that we ask for written responses are, what are experiences you've had with science that you find positive, and how would you like to kind of build on that? What would you be interested in studying if you had the ability to do more research? And so we're looking for students who have curiosity, but maybe not any previous means or experience in doing it. We bring back probably for 25 spots, about 40 applicants to interview, and we try to get an assessment of if they can commit to the time. It's all summer and then 1 day a week, all school year. And then we make our offers and we try to bring in students who are primarily from Harlem and Washington Heights. We try to make it even across grades. So we have students graduating every year. We have younger students coming through and coming back maybe year after year. Yeah, and it's primarily that. And then try to create a continuous relationship that they may work with us in college, or they may, I mean, we've hired 12 of those students that we've previously had as interns working with us full-time or part-time as adults. So yeah, we want it to be long-term.
That's why I asked about funding, because
It has to be sustainable.
40 kids is great, but if we could get you funded to open it up to even more kids, that would be amazing.
Is funding the constraint for expanding the program, or is it more buses, or is it the location?
Yeah,
We
So,
can put
yeah.
money.
No, but sometimes you can have the money, but the expansion is not feasible because either space is already a constraint, there's more, staff to really run the program because
Yeah.
whatever the situation is, so.
I think we have as many, we can pay for all the students we have, and we have as many students as we can with the staff we have at this moment. So growing staff would be great. Most nonprofits are not growing this year in STEM and in social justice. We are just kind of holding down. Yeah,
But we should be, we
Yeah,
should be.
we would, and if you have ideas, we'd love to.
So you do have an intent to, do you have a vision or
Yeah.
strategic plan to expansion, and can you share a little bit of that vision and strategic plan with us?
Sure, and I'll try to keep it brief, but Random Bivas sees about 5% of students in New York City every year. And the majority of those happen in Harlem, Washington Heights, the South Bronx, and the Lower East Side. So those are neighborhoods that we've identified where we want to be focused. We have more neighborhoods that we would like to focus on, including a bigger part of the South Bronx, parts of Brooklyn. And there's also a lot more to do. We don't see every school in Harlem and Washington Heights. So we have those 3 focus zones right now. I think a future, we have buses coming. Capital projects are actually something that are possible, but then operating costs and expansion. If we can commit more staff, scientists, and more teams, have a Washington Heights team, a West Harlem team, and an East Harlem team, some teams in
And the
Brooklyn.
Bronx.
And the Bronx, 4 in the Bronx.
City Council Special Initiative to me. Okay, any more questions? Let's get, no, not you. Trying to get to other people. Anybody?
Yeah, I have a couple quick questions. Is there a deadline for your application?
Yes, March 15th.
March 15th. Okay,
Well,
great.
that's
amazing.
by the time.
And with the expectation, we're gonna push it a week, but don't tell the kids.
Of course.
Well, you know,
I'll be sure to share that. My schedule.
Sorry.
Additionally, could you tell us a little bit about the demographics of the students, maybe in terms of age as well, that are participating in the BioBus program?
Sure, so across the BioBus.
Right.
We work with K through 12, the bus visit schools of all levels. I think the majority of students that we see are between 2nd and 8th grades. That is where most of our work is on the BioBus. For the Harlem team, they're all in districts, some in 3, 4, 5, and 6. So most of the uptown districts. And we see more high schools at this time of year, so probably making up about a quarter of students in New York City. We'll see maybe like 15 to 20% of our total students will be in high school, but we'll try to do them now during our recruitment period.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and then in our after-school programs, it's more focused on kind of the sixth or eighth grade, like maybe fifth or eighth grade.
Okay, can I change seats with you?
Yes, yeah.
D, you have a question?
School program, it's in 129th Street, you said several times.
We have the lab there where we host, but we also we also go to sites. So we'll actually move into like set up a microscope lab in the site. So we had that in the Washington campus, currently on PS 129, District 5.
I would like to connect you with this program called Land Use Medical Program, in New York Presbyterian. It's a enrichment program trying to expose Washington Science and Inwood children to medicine. Right, I was part of the first founding program back years ago. I was in sixth grade. So they historically have internships once they reach like the high school level. So I think this is something they're always looking to expand and find out more. And it seems like you guys are helping out high school students. So I think that would be a nice sending of his. I'll definitely talk to you more about it.
Yeah.
How long is the after school program in terms of hours per day and within the school year?
Typically 1 hour per day for each class. And we see 2 or 3 classes, 55 minutes. And then we'll either do a 10-week engagement or a year-long engagement.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so we have a couple partners we see all year, but others we'll see, and sometimes we'll do a 4-week kind of introductory engagement. It's usually 10 or. Yeah.
Brianna, I see you, I got you. Any more questions in audience here? Okay, we have some questions online. Tiana?
Yes, thank you. I would like to know for how much would it be for the biobus to come to a school? Like you said, there is a price. And if there is also, once you visit it, do you have any packets for teachers to continue to work with the students afterwards? Or any, yeah.
Yeah, so the price, it's on a sliding scale, but we take the kind of posted economic need index and it's 95%. You pay 5% of our total cost. So just to kind of back of the envelope, I could say it's probably $600 or less per day for a school.
That's doable.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
we try.
And
And
you
we do
said,
have packets, yeah.
Yeah,
We have
packets.
online materials, things that we share.
Put that in a note. Put that in a note.
I should say that price is like a guess average.
No, but
Yeah.
even at a guess average, that's, that's doable, cause I was, I was thinking you was gonna say like $3,000, $4,000.
I was waiting for the.
I was waiting for 1,000.
The cost to us is thousands.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's why we asked,
Is that,
For
is
fun?
that the price
No.
for an hour for?
That's a full day, 6
That's
classes.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely wanna do it.
only with generous support.
Do you take public donation as well, like individual donation?
We would, yeah, that's,
And I
yeah.
think like a community-based organizations, just thinking for myself, like we would have a sponsor and say, hey, we wanna do a bio bus. This is how much it costs, pay for it.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, some
Even
sponsors-
the community board, like, I feel like we need to pay for it to, make a whole day of it, of doing something for our kids. What you think, Stefan?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it at the executive board. Put that in a minute.
See, you said small personal donation. Imagine if each member donate $10.
No, we're gonna use the community board budget. I didn't say,
Well, then
they're
there is that
volunteers.
too. There is that too.
We're already working for free. Okay,
Sorry, I just had one more question.
yes,
In
yes.
terms of if we were to go to your site, that you said you ran from Colombia, that do we need to pay when we go there? And if we go in with big groups, how big can the group be? And do we need to sign up? Just the logistics of that, or is that something where we can find?
The events I have in the slideshow, those are all free events. We encourage you to RSVP, especially if you're bringing a group, but it's free and you can bring them. The room fits about 150 people. So that's kind of assuming other people will also be there. But the weekend events, we actually spill into the lobby and across the street. So we have a lot of space for those.
Do you have like a email or something that I could put in the chat
Oh, sure.
to give the people?
Yes, it's Rob.
And then y'all
And the
can reach
dates, they
out.
just went too fast. I don't even know when
Sure.
those are.
They're all,
If we
they
can
they
put
will
on
soon
the
be on
chat.
our website.
Oh, that would be great.
So you'll be
Thank
able
you.
to find all the information on their website, and I will put his email in the chat. And we will definitely, the community board will send out some emails about the BioBus on our listserv. Thank you, Tatiana. Okay, I also see we also have Olympia has a question.
Hi, everybody. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Olympia. Yes.
Okay, guys, I moved uptown 4 years ago. I served downtown at my community board for many years. And thanks to Lenny, this is the first community board I'm attending in my new neighborhood. So I'm very excited.
Welcome. Welcome
Very
to your
nice to meet you.
community.
So the reason I raised my hand is actually I wanted to say that my son is one of the lucky students that had the BioBus experience at PS 187 recently, and he just had the time of his life. He loved it. He had actually also visited at Manhattan Mill when you guys had a community day, but that school was much better. He was very interested about the samples and everything. And the feedback that I wanted to give you was something that Tatiana also mentioned. It would be great because, frankly, we all have kids in the public school. We know that with science teachers over the years, it's a little bit hit and miss. So if you could give them some materials that they prepare the kids and they follow after, it would make the whole experience, I think, because you guys bring expertise in our schools and our teachers are trying to do their best, but they don't always have the means and access that you have as BioPass. So I would love it if you work on a curriculum or anyhow like a package that these schools get beyond that day. And then the second feedback is from my daughter. My son is a 5th grader and the 3rd grade didn't get to go to the BioBus. He was so bummed. She's like, why don't I get to go?
We'll try to come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have with teachers. Thanks.
Thank you so much. That presentation was everything. We will definitely be in touch. And please reach out to us if you're having any issues or is something anything that the Youth and Education Committee can help you with.
Absolutely.
All
Thank you
right?
so
And
much.
I'll be in touch.
Yes.
As Tanisha Grant. Okay. Moving on. So now I want to get into, we have parents here that are having a very hard time at a school that's in our district that happens to be a charter school. And I want to now give them the floor so they can tell the committee what's going on, and we can figure out how we can assist them. Y'all gotta come up here. Hello. Hi. Come over here, sit down. Comfortable, your family. This is Alyssa. Alyssa is a longtime community member of Washington Heights, or her family and her children. And Alyssa, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, well, I am from the Lower East Side, but I did move to Washington Heights 20 years ago. So I've been in Washington Heights since 2006. I have known Ms. Grant for the whole 20 years that I've been in the community. I love living in the community. I went from actually 164th to 155th, so I tried to stay in the community. I said I lived in this community.
Use
for
your
20
outside
years.
voice.
I've been in the community for 20 years. I know Ms. Grant for 20 years. From the first day I moved here, she's been very nice to me. I know all the children. I do try to get out to a lot of the community things that she does have. I know she has a community day in June, I believe, or July in the summertime. I try to go out to those things. I usually reach out to her when I have issues also as well. But I am here because I have been having an issue with Wayne Charter Community School, 167th Street. I started originally having issues with the school when the school was in Stick on Edgecombe and 163rd Street. The first issue that I had, and the only issue that I have, is currently with Mr. Charlie Ortiz, who I believe is the person that runs the school. Yeah, he's I guess the CEO. Mr. Charlie, not only to myself, has also given a lot of other parents hard times. A lot of parents have removed their children from WIN. The teachers change every year, the staff changes every year. The communication is horrible. Every day I drop my daughter to the door of the school. I watch her walk in the door. Multiple times I have calls saying that my child was gone from the school. I had to go up to the school because they don't answer the phone, or when I call, they give me the most hardest time in the world. I actually had to go to the school right before the vacation with the police to actually search for my child that actually walked into the school building. When I called the school and I tried, because I did receive a text.
Tell them how you're banned from the school.
Yes, I've been banned from Wayne Charter Community School since they were on 163rd and Edgecombe due to the fact on a winter day, they sent my daughter home in the snow with no jacket on. The next day I went to the school to complain about the jackets. They said they were gonna try to find the jackets. The following day, the jacket was returned. And when the jacket was returned, I was also given a letter of being banned from the school because they said that I, as a parent, I went a little bit crazy, but I sent my kid home, you know, with no coat in the middle. No, it was snowing outside. So when I got to the school, I wasn't even called to show she didn't have a coat. So when I got to the school, I had to give her my coat because I'm not gonna let my child walk home in the snow with no coat on. The ban was there for about a year. He also had issues in Stick. I'm not sure if you guys know, when was in Stick, they did not renew their lease with Stick due to the fact that the security in the school also had problems. They'd always be like, we don't know what the issue is. They moved to St. Rosa. St. Rosa, my daughter was 10 years old when I was allowed back in, when we went on a trip to the Bronx Zoo. The bus came about an hour late. By the time we got onto the bus, we got to the Bronx Zoo. I looked down, my daughter said she peed on herself. It just so happened that my daughter started her first menstrual. I asked nicely if I could take my daughter to the bathroom, and I was told no. A teacher stepped in my face, told me specifically, I am not allowed to take my daughter to the bathroom because they went to the bathroom already, and she has to wait till they get back to the school. I took my daughter from there to the bathroom because you cannot tell me I cannot take my child to a bathroom if she has to go to a bathroom. I took my daughter to the bathroom. The teacher also agreed because the other children had to use the bathroom. We came out, we get to the school, I get to the school, I'm approached at the door of the school by Mr. Drexler, which I believe is the parent coordinator, and another woman who no longer works there because the turnaround every year changes. I was addressed in front of the school. I was told that if I would like to take my daughter to go to the bathroom, because the school doesn't allow the children to go to the bathroom at certain times during classes, the children are not allowed to use the bathroom. The children have to be in school at 8 a.m. They have no recess, and the children doesn't have a break after lunch. They're just straight 20-minute lunch, and then they're just straight learning. What happened was when we had got back to the school, I was approached at the school and I was told that if I would like my daughter to go to the bathroom, I would have to send an email to Mr. Drexler letting him know the days that my daughter starts her menstrual period, and he will send an email out to the staff to let them know that my daughter is allowed to go to the bathroom whenever she gets her period. And because I did not agree, I was banned from the school. I am currently still banned from the school. The school ban has not been lifted. I attended a meeting last year to be reinstated. When I got to the meeting, Mr. Charlie came in. I was not allowed to have anyone at the meeting. I tried to have Ms. Grant assist me. They told me that you are not allowed to have an advocate in the school.
Which is absolutely not true.
They told me I am not allowed to record and I am not allowed to have an attorney. I also asked if my friend in the back here can also attend with me. They told me she was a conflict of interest. She cannot attend the meeting. Only myself can be in the meeting, not even my daughter's dad is allowed in the meeting. I sat in the meeting. The two gentlemen came out. Mr. Drexler came out. Mr. Ortiz came out. Mr. Ortiz came out. He sat at the desk, did not give me eye contact, did not say one word to me. Mr. Charlie sat there on his phone, went through his phone, looked at Mr. Drexler and said, "What are we here for? This is pointless." And got up and said no and walked out the door. Did not say another word to me. Not another word. Yesterday, I went to drop my daughter off at school.
No. Tell them about trying to take her out of the school.
Oh, yes. I tried to take my daughter out of WIN multiple times.
First, you have to understand that her daughter is a very good student and she plays the violin.
Yes. My daughter's
very well. So she makes the school look good.
Musical school.
Yes.
When? Charter school.
Last year, my daughter was, yes.
All kids in school.
Right, no, but yeah, but we're talking about her person, thank you.
Since they got here, her child and my child have been at this school since it started in Washington. The issue is, it's a personal issue. Let's be very clear. He does not treat me how he treats her. He does not. So when he had a problem with her, he asked me to bring Kaori to school.
I was not allowed to bring my daughter to school at period. Like, they would call the police as soon as I stepped on the curb.
But I need you to understand something. It might not be you, right? Like you're saying. It shouldn't be her either. It shouldn't be any of these children. And what the main point that I need y'all to get to understand is that charter schools do not have the same regulations as public schools. Our children, parents want the best for their children, and we understand that. But we have been duped into believing that these charter schools will be better to our children than public schools, when we should all just have good public schools in our community for our kids. Period. It's not about school choice. It's about, robbing our public schools of what they need, and then making, giving resources to when they have a beautiful big school right now in our community that has new everything. And look how they are treating this parent and this child, because this can't just be happening to the parent and not to the child.
And it is affecting the child.
Don't think that the child is not understanding that it seems like the school has more say-so over her mama and her while she's in the school than her mama does.
And the support. So Gwen has multiple concerts in here. As parents, we've been going to the concerts for years where they was playing paper instruments. Kaori don't get that. Her mom can't come. So as a child, you now choose.
Trauma.
Do I go and perform for this school and perform for other parents and not be able to perform for my own mother? I have tried to mediate, because, like I said, I don't have those same problems with y'all. I don't know why. Just to give you a little backstory on my kid, my son tried to commit suicide in the 4th grade because of something that was going on at the school that I was unaware of. I was talked to by the parent coordinator at the time, who was very concerned, who called me multiple times. But not one time did Charlie call me. Not one time did the assistant principal call me. But these are people who have had my child since he was in kindergarten.
These are dangerous people.
Who know me, and failed to reach out to have a conversation with me about something that's going on in their school, not at home, not in the community, in their school. And then told me, don't be upset. Don't be upset. And if it wasn't for my child advocating for that school because he loves the school and the community he has in the school, go snatch my kid out. Because my kid got choices. I have 5 master's degrees. My kid don't gotta stay. So I advocate for her. Was she wrong? I tell her she wrong. She not always right. But was she right? She's right. And Charlie shouldn't have that much control.
Yeah, he
to say I'm a conflict of interest, he ain't seen a conflict yet.
No, that is completely against the law. Committee members, y'all have questions? They're flabbergasted. Like, this is the stuff that happens in our community.
My daughter was supposed to be I tried to transfer my daughter out last year. What happened was, she got accepted to like Celia Cruz School of Music. So, they're like, oh, finish School of Music, we'll do whatever. My daughter was offered a seat at KIPP. So they were asked to send the paperwork over. The paperwork was never sent. This year, my daughter's in the school. I told them again, I'm gonna transfer my daughter over to KIPP. We prepared to transfer. They told me, oh, you should not transfer her because my daughter was nominated for something I was not even there for my daughter to be nominated for. My daughter was nominated for a full 5-week, $10,000 scholarship to the Phelps Academy in Boston for a full 5-week program for their music program. I was not presented. I did not know my daughter was nominated. I was not there for the nomination ceremony. I was not there for anything. We actually didn't even know until we got the placard and book back because her dad was not even invited either. So only the school staff was there.
Don't they need your permission to even send her?
They just nominated her.
They just do whatever they
They
want.
need our permission,
They
but we get stuff in the email all the time that our kids are nominated. They put in for this program, that program.
Great is this?
This school goes from K to 8th grade.
And the irony of this today, I was driving by and St. Rosalima, I didn't see the flags anymore of the one.
Yeah.
Then I drive and see Zeta. Zeta's taking more buildings here.
Yeah.
Is that recent that they left St. Rosalima? Because I
Yes,
saw.
they
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, so
Well, that was just,
so like that's recent.
it's just a holding. First of all, that Catholic school was there since
Oh,
before we were born.
Right.
So that was like a staple in our community. So
Right.
to see it go away and to see a charter school be put there was like, ugh. But they was just there while they was building their state of the art school over here on 160.
162nd.
Yeah.
So my main thing is that I need people to understand.
Statement and Broadway.
Yes, I need people to understand that charter schools are nonprofits.
Yeah. Right. Well, they very profitable.
And the children are the profit.
Yes, amen.
Your child is a profit. So we're gonna discuss. I know we all want to do something about this. We want to send the school.
I actually reached out to the board already for the school.
Uh-huh.
When I went online to go find information for the board, miraculously, there are no handbooks, there are no board information, there are no board emails either. I had to call charter schools myself. I received the email from them in October giving me the email to the board. I tried to give the school an option to meet with me in a meeting. Charlie refused to meet with me in a meeting. He said he did not want to mess up his vacation. So I had decided to write the email to the board like they told me to. I got an email back from Wynn Charter School. They told me that I should not be emailing that email. They wanted to know where I got the email from. I said, well, I got it from the charter schools. They asked to see the email because they wanted to know the name of the person who gave me the email to the person that worked on the board and asked me to not email the board. So I was asked first day back on vacation Monday for me not to email the board, for me not to call the board. I'm not even allowed to go to board meetings. I was told to go to the board to speak to the board. Since I'm banned from the school, I'm banned from board meetings. The board refuses to meet with me. I know that the chair board person that works in Wynn is also the chair board in Westchester County as well. So I'm really not sure how that works.
So we have our councilwoman is here. Carmen, you want to say anything?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, it sounds egregious that you would be banned from your child's school. I want to be able to be helpful. So, Tanisha, if you could connect us, I actually do know Wynn, and I actually do know Charlie Ortiz. So I'm happy to reach out with more details on sort of what the requests are for advocacy and advocate in this situation. So just connect us, Tanisha, and I'll be sure to follow up.
Okay. That's our councilwoman, yeah, and she has a relationship with them. And yeah, like, because this is crazy, Carmen, and this has been going on for a while, at least over 2 years. And she's trying to do everything that she can, and they just want to do whatever they want because, her daughter is an amazing student and an amazing musician.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there should be no reason to ban unless there was a violent incident or something of that nature. If there isn't, then that doesn't quite make sense. So I'm happy to take the case on. So please connect me.
Okay, and even when she tried to like take her daughter out to school,
That is.
Regardless, you should be.
they didn't send her paperwork. Why?
Yeah,
Like
that's
they're just
negative.
doing whatever they want with her child. Like they even like uh somebody from the school said that the child wasn't there, so they called ACS. And the child was in school.
That was the day I had to call the police.
And then they said, oh, it's a mistake. And she had to call the police to come and check the school to make sure, and because her child was there. And ACS was saying that they got a call from the school because her child wasn't there. So I will hit you up in the back end, but I wanted to get this on the record, you know.
So the school, in the letter, the ban letter, it says in order for me to attend anything, graduations, anything like that, I have to write 4 days in advance. I have emails where I wrote 4 weeks in advance, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I was told when I asked, like, you guys are not respond. They don't even respond to the email. I was told to stop sending emails because the answer will always be no. They said that came from Charlie. The answer to me is always no. No matter what it is, the answer is no.
Have you been?
I never.
We ain't got no buildings like that look in our public schools though. That's what you got.
I'm sorry, what is your name again?
Miss Rios, Alyssa Rios.
Elisa Rios.
Miss Leo, have you ever had any, in entering the school, any kind of violent approach?
Miss Charlie has, I don't know what his issue is with me, but Charlie has like, wherever he sees me, he gives me like action and walks away. There was even an issue where I was in Presbyterian in the emergency room because I had COVID, and he walked out the door and saw me on the bench and went inside and told the security I was harassing. I didn't even say a word to him. The security guard came back out and said she didn't even say anything to me. And they escorted him out.
Are there any other parents having similar?
Yes. A lot of the parents usually take their kids out of the school and just move. I know one parent, she was in front
This
of the
is
school,
common.
yelling at Charlie. I tried to get her to
This is a
come to me.
common thing
Yeah. She
that
said that Charlie was
happens
having her kids
in
the
charter
office
schools, and
asking.
it's not because the parents is violent. It's because when if the parents are passionate and the parents are advocating for their children, her child had her period, and they said she couldn't take her
That
to.
is humiliating.
So yeah, so you know, it's also us. We gotta stop asking questions like, oh well, was there anything that you did
No,
that
it's,
was, you know?
I just want to have some context.
I
that's all.
get it, but I'm offended because you don't understand. I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying like that's where it always goes. Like, oh, well, what did you do? You know, well, was there any violence on your part, or was there a violent?
Where I'm coming from, but
I
understand your point.
but
I understand your point.
I think that we have to also be one, it's a real conversation. And I understand being offended, but I also understand the question. Because the reality is her child came home without a coat. So yeah,
I would be feeling.
when she went there, she wasn't the nicest person. But
not
she
being
had-
nice and being violent is two different things. We gotta be really careful when we say that word violent.
So understand what I'm saying, Ms. Tanisha, because I understand what you're saying. I understand what I'm saying. That one saying there ain't easy to swallow all the time.
I understand what you're saying, but I've known her for a long time. And what I'm saying is when a mother comes and they're advocating for their child, the professionals in the school are not allowed to take that personal.
Exactly. But
So
that's
I don't
what-
know what we're talking about here.
That's what I'm saying. That's what happened. It no longer was about the school. It was no longer about the child. It became a personal thing. The only thing he has control over is women. That's the only thing he can control. So how do I show my dominance over someone that I don't like? By banning her and being disrespectful. He's wrong. And that's
Definitely.
one of the reasons why he won't let me in the meeting. Cause the same way I tell her when she wrong, I'm gonna tell him when he's wrong.
You know, I don't know how we can address it, but I think that there is a detrimental abuse of power. Regardless of whatever you have done, the idea that you cannot be part of your child education because that's in a way what is happening in a big scale is beyond seeing a performance. It's really is not being part of your child education because you are not being part of any concerning information that as a parent, we must be informed to also make a decision. The humiliation of how or where a teenager having her period has to be the entire staff informed, such a super private event. Yes, I would love for the period to become a very taboo thing that everybody can talk about and just be it. It's a natural thing that occurs to female, but that is not how we should be approaching that with a teenager that go through a million different things before and after that. So I don't know what this board can do about it, but I feel like it's really child endangerment and abuse. It's really is. I really, as a co-chair, I don't know what is it that we can do as a board, but I'm outraged as a parent, as a female, as a human being. It's just, it makes what is happening. I can understand what makes sense there. I can understand the level of what you have described to us or how we deal with that and what we do with that information. A lawyer.
We're gonna figure it out, but I think the first thing we can do is, as the Youth and Education Committee, we can definitely send an email. And I have no problem sending emails to boards, and I dare them to tell me not to contact them. We have Carmen. We can work with Carmen to advocate and to figure out what you want and what your daughter wants. And if you want your daughter moved out that school, then that's what it is. If you want your daughter to stay in that school, but you allowed to fully participate in her education and everything that she's doing and her musicals and everything, you let us know. You let us know what you want to do and we'll try to help you do it. But it's disgusting. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm just, because you're not the only one. Like, I hear cases like this all the time. The fact that there's no play, there's no rest for your children. It's work and eat 20 minutes. That is not good for our children.
Well, wait a minute. The first 10 minutes of lunch.
That's not good for our children.
At all.
Oh, yes, for the first 10 minutes of lunch, they're not allowed to.
I'm constantly getting a phone.
Sound like prison.
I'm constantly getting a phone call.
Put it that way, but
That's what they teach you. They train you for, if you ever go that way, you already know what you're supposed to do, because this is what it looks like.
I think the children between grades 6, 7, and 8 have to be in by 8 a.m. The younger children have to be in by 8:10. 6th to 8th grade do learning all throughout the day. Like I said, even 6, 7, 8th grade.
To 4.
Yes, they do not. The only time, and I think lunch is about 20 minutes. That's it.
It's crazy.
Programs for the younger kids.
But there's no after school for the older kids. They don't provide.
Okay, well, let's figure out what we're going to do. The meeting is going so long. We wasn't even supposed to still be here. Well, still be here, but further in the agenda.
Can I just say thank you for coming here and sharing that with us? And I'm really sorry that this is happening, but thank you for bringing this to our attention. Thank you, Tanisha.
We're gonna do something. We're gonna do something about it.
We appreciate y'all listening.
Yes, no, but this is the type of things that we're here for. Like, we're advisory. We're basically an advisory committee for the elected officials, for the systems, for the agencies. And when stuff like this is happening because even though it's a charter school, it still has to follow some public school mandates, right? And this is just not allowed. And they get us in these little silos, and most of the parents are just pulling their kids out. So everybody's looking at this school like it's so great, but they're not understanding what some of the children and some of the families are going through so their kid can get a so-called good education. But we're gonna move on. But please come back. Call me, let us know what's going on. Alyssa, let me know. Think about it for a few days, and then me, you, us, Carmen, we'll come up with a plan, and we'll definitely email the board and Charlie. Charlie gonna see me sooner or later. Thank you so much. Okay, so really quick, Brianna, can you introduce yourself and your spiel really quick for community conversations, and then really quick, and then Leonie, because she's about to leave us and we really need her presentation.
Can you guys see me? My laptop is crazy. Hi, so I'm Brianna, as Tanisha introduced me. I work at the Manhattan DA's office as a youth and education coordinator for Manhattan North. So that just means that I liaise with the schools and people in the community in Manhattan North, which is districts 3, 4, 5, and 6, when it comes to youth programming and things like that. So I just want to mention that we're having a resume workshop in February, and we would love for as many students as possible to come in if they need help with resumes, if they have a resume that they just want to tweak a little bit, or if they just want to kind of like network, because it'll be a whole bunch of people there, professionals helping them as well. And then our high school internship program, which has been running for about 30 years now, is starting up in March, and the applications we're looking to be open sometime later this month, or beginning of February. So I just wanted to put that in everybody's minds, and we really want to extend the applications to more vulnerable communities, especially people who are living in NYCHA housing, just because we want to have more of those students represented in our programs as well. So just that's my spiel. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great night. I'll leave my email in the chat for everybody to see. But yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, and Brianna, send all of that information to our office so that we can put it in our newsletter and blast it out.
Thank you.
Where's it gonna be?
Where's the workshop going to be, Brianna?
It's I believe it's at 80 Center Street by the courthouses.
80 Center Street.
I'm going to double check.
All right, double check and send us the information. Okay.
I could double check right now, and I can put it in the chat. So
okay, thank you so much. Okay, Leonie, come on. Where you at? I'm sorry. But you know, we be trying to take care of our parents. I know you heard what was going on, but give it to us. Give it to us. Okay, so now we have Leonie Hampson, and she is the executive director of class size mandates. And she's the executive director of Class Size Matters. But she is an expert on the class size mandates, and she's going to talk about some AI concerns where they want AI to teach our children, and we're like, no. Leonie?
Yeah, so Tanisha told me to do a presentation both on class size and on AI. So hopefully this is not too much information for you guys so late at night. So there was a class size bill, I think I presented to you last year as well. It was passed in June 2022 by the legislature. It requires New York City to provide a 5-year class size reduction plan that will cap all class sizes at no more than 20 students in K through 3, 23 and 4 through 8, 25 in high school. An additional 20% are supposed to achieve these caps each year, with those schools with the highest levels of poverty to be prioritized first. And 100% of classes supposed to meet the caps by September 2028. And some exemptions are allowed in the law, but only with the agreement of the UFT and the CSA. So what's happened since? DOE has never developed or implemented a multi-year plan. They've just gone from year to year. And we were already at more than 40% compliance when the law was passed due to enrollment decline. But because of Adams' budget cuts to schools, class sizes initially increased rather than decreased. Last year, the schools did meet the benchmark at 46% after having lowered class sizes a bit. But even as districts and schools across the city ranged widely in compliance, this fall, again, DOE did meet the benchmarks at 64%, but only by exempting more than 10,000 classes in 123 schools from their calculations.
So they cheating?
Say that again?
So they cheating?
They're not exactly cheating. I mean, in my view, they're not doing the right thing. Unfortunately, the UFT and the CSA were given the right to let them exempt certain classes, but they're not supposed to be permanent exemptions. And the problem is they have, as I'll explain going on, they have no real plan to provide class sizes to all the kids who need them. More than 700 schools, including 21 schools in District 6, received funding for class size reduction, but only if they already had the space at their current enrollment in their buildings to lower class size. So here's what the data shows for this year. District 6 is doing pretty well in that you reach 69% compliance in grades K through 3, which is one of the better rates across districts across the city, as you can see with that red line. Again, 69% for grades 4 through 8, which again is pretty good, though not showing much improvement from last year. And then in high school at 66%. So in general, you're doing pretty well. Certainly many, many kids are benefiting from the program, and the law so far are getting the smaller classes that they really need and deserve. But at the same time, in the exemptions in District 6 for K through 3, there were 38 classes exempted. In 4 through 8, 137 classes exempted. High school, 49 classes exempted. So what's the problem? The School Construction Authority have testified that more than 70,000 more school seats are needed in the capital plan to be able to comply with the law, yet the capital plan funds less than half that number at 31,000 seats. The SCA also refuses to say where they're going to build all those seats. Instead, they seem to be counting on permanent exemptions. And the word exemption, we found, is used 22 times in the latest DOE submission to the state versus 11 times a year ago versus 8 times in their initial plan. So what about the future? Achieving 80 to 100% of classes in years 4 and 5 will be impossible without a better enrollment policies and a better capital plan. The DOE admits there are 500 schools that do not have the space at their current enrollment, which enroll about half of all non-District 75 students in the city. These schools also enroll about more than 62,000 students with disabilities, more than 57,000 English language learners, and at least 250,000 students in poverty. There are 13 of these schools in District 6 that do not have the space. And other than a possible annex for PSIS 187, DOE has no plan to provide any more schools with more space through the capital plan. These are the names of the schools in your district on that list. You can see the PSIS 187 is getting an annex, possibly, though that decision is not yet final, and apparently they're still evaluating that. See all the other schools that don't have the space that are not going to get any more space. So I was appointed to a class size working group in the spring of 2023, which is many years ago now, and we came up with a bunch of proposals on how the DOE could create more space for overcrowding schools much more quickly. We called for expanding the capital plan, accelerating school siting and construction, including restarting a school siting task force that existed a number of years ago, but with very little community involvement. We want that task force to start up again. We want more schools to be built as part of the new housing construction that the mayor wants to, accelerate, because schools can be anchor tenants to help with financing of housing projects. Right now in your district, that's happening, but only for charter schools. It's not happening for public schools, as far as I know. In overcrowded elementary schools, we believe that moving some pre-K and 3K classes to nearby community-based organizations could free up more than 450 classrooms, which would save over $1 billion. And there are thousands of empty seats in nearby CBOs, which really put them in economic peril of closure. None of our recommendations have been adopted so far by DOE. We're hoping to do better with a new mayor and a new chancellor, but I don't know. I can't say yet for sure that it will be. And this is just a chart showing that we have been seeing a boom in the growth in new housing, and yet there's no clear plan to build enough public schools where this new housing is going to be sited. And in fact, 2024 saw the highest rate of increase of housing units since 1965. So that's my presentation on class size. I could answer questions now, or we could wait, depending on what you want to do with my other presentation. Tanisha?
Okay. Are there any questions? No? I would just ask Leonie that you send that list of the schools in District 6 that won't comply with class size. Are there any questions online?
Could we also get the list of recommendations by the working group?
And the list of the recommendations, okay?
Right, and yeah, there's a lot of recommendations in there that would really be very helpful, including capping enrollment between nearby schools, because as Carmen mentioned, some schools are very overutilized, but they're sitting right next to very underutilized schools, which could use more students to have a more sustainable budget. And yet, so far, the DOE has refused to do that. But I'll send the PowerPoint and also send a link to the class size working group report, which has a lot more ideas about how to improve results and provide the space that these schools need to lower class size.
Just have a quick question. Leonie, thank you so much. Do you have any understanding of how many, if there is a cap on the school being exempt to complying with the law? Because the more schools that are exempt, the less we will be closer to reaching the goal of smaller class.
So DOE makes all the decisions about where enrollment is going to be capped. And so far, they have refused to change any, even when principals and parents are begging for smaller enrollments, and even when there's space in nearby schools, they have refused to allow those schools to lower their enrollment to lower class size. And yet they are not building enough new schools either to allow for more space. So it's, in my mind, it's very inequitable, it's very destructive, because as I said, it would help the overcrowded schools, and it would also really help the underutilized schools as well, because their budgets are so limited, they can't provide art, music, science, extracurricular activities, all the kinds of enrichment that students really need for a quality education. So, and all of this would be more or less, it would save billions of dollars, both for staffing and for school construction, just to equalize enrollment across schools. We also believe that it would lead to more diversity and integration in schools as well.
If there's any guideline for why some schools are exempted?
Ask.
Is there any guideline in terms of what made a school to be exempt?
Could you speak a little louder?
Is there any guideline that determine why some schools are exempt?
What makes schools exempt?
Schools, all right, so the exemptions are supposed to be for schools where there is a theoretical plan to build new schools nearby. And yet we've looked at these exemptions and they don't always apply. Sometimes schools are being exempt even if there's no planned start date or no actual site for a new school nearby. And so they're theoretically exempting schools because they say sometime in the future there will be a new school built nearby. There's another real issue, which is that the DOE doesn't even promise, even if there's a school nearby, that that new school or the existing overcrowded school would be allowed to have the space to lower class size. We looked at the whole list of schools, new schools that were open last year, and not one of them actually complied with the law, even though they had many, many empty classrooms. And meanwhile, the nearby schools, many of them did not improve. It actually got worse in terms of the number of classes that complied. So without an enrollment policy, which is actually aligned to the class size goals in the law, you can build infinite number of new schools. And if you don't make sure that kids are going to that, the classes in those schools are aligned to the class size caps, and that overcrowding in nearby schools is adjusted, you're still not going to meet the goals.
Yes, we have a question online. Olympia?
Thank you. So more than a question, I guess it's a comment because I am a District 6 parent and I wanted to share with you some things that are also happening. So first of all, I mean, we all need to thank Lenny because what she has done in terms of advocacy has been amazing. So as I told you all, this is the 4th year that we moved uptown. My husband teaches at CUNY and my kids are going to District 6 school. And my daughter, for 1st grade, she was in classes of 30 kids. So this is crazy. And I testified repeatedly at City Council. And I met both with the previous superintendent and the current superintendent, because when you testify at city council, you end up in the newspapers, and then you end up being, singled out. I mean, I was luckier than the previous parent who has been banned from the school, but I'm pretty sure if I was in a charter, I would have been banned too, because I'm a troublemaker. And what I wanted to share, especially if Carmen is still online, is what we noticed as locally is that there is no capping process. Like, even though you may be in excess of the class size law in exorbitant ways, you still are expected from the DOE Central Enrollment Office to be keeping your numbers up. And if you lose some students by attrition, they expect you to accept more kids. So in my daughter's year, that were 30 kids and went down to 29, at a certain point, there could have been 26 kids per class. And instead, we accepted new students and we upped our numbers to 29. And I'm not talking now 3-4 years ago. I'm talking like last year or the beginning of this year. They constantly enroll kids. And the reason they do that is because there is no real commitment, at least from the previous DOE leadership, with ever meeting this class size. And this annex that apparently is the result of our advocacy and our testifying may materialize in 3, 4, 5 years, right? My kids will be high school by then. So they're giving up on an entire generation of kids, and they don't care. And frankly, the class size group has put forward amazing creative ways that we could tackle this issue today without more money, right? Improve the experience of students in the school. And instead, I met with the superintendent. I reached out to the other overcrowded schools and said, do you want to meet? I can help you testify. I can help. And the reality is, even the superintendent office, I said, let's do some creative solutions locally among the schools. They never follow up. They never follow up, right? And so for me, it's lovely that we have this meeting here today. I'm happy to share with all of you all the things that we've, proposed and went nowhere. But I truly feel that District 6 could be a leader, and we're missing an opportunity. At a minimum, capping these overcrowded classes feasible. The reason right now it's not feasible is if the principals cap the classes, they lose money in the budget, and they cannot sustain the current number of teachers they need. And so I think
it's tied to enrollment. I don't know why, but it is.
Sorry, I got too excited and I was screaming. My son told me. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. You're not screaming to us, but thank you so much. We're going to work on it. That's why, Leonie is now getting invited to come to our meetings and make presentations on this subject, because I too am one who have been testifying at committee hearings and state hearings on class size for years. We understand the more students that are in a class, the less attention they can individually get from the teacher, and the stress that we're putting on our teachers as well. So it's a two-sided problem that, with Leonie and Class Size Matters at the lead, that a lot of advocates have been advocating to correct. And, they're supposed to fix it like 2027, right, Leonie? Like 100% of the schools supposed to be
by the fall of 2028, by the fall of 2028, and we're never going to make it. Even if the new administration did everything right, which I have no idea whether they will, it'll take time. Even if you cap enrollment, even if you build more schools, nobody wants to push kids out of their existing schools. So it would only be for the entering class. And it'll take a number of years. Now, if Adams had done what he should have done when the law was passed, we would be able to have 100% compliance. But because he was kicking and screaming all along the way and complaining and refusing to do anything, and actually went backwards for the first couple of years, and nobody really made him do any better, it's going to be really a challenge for the new administration, and we're lucky if we will get to anywhere near 100% in the next 4 or 5 years at this point. My fear is that they will ask for permanent exemptions for the so-called popular schools, And the excuse that they use is that we want to cater to parent choice, right? And so the popular schools are the ones we want to overcrowd because parents are applying there. However, there was a survey, a parent survey that DOE did for parents who took their kids out of the New York City public schools, and more than 80% said that class size was a factor in their decision to leave the public school system. So obviously, this is an important thing for parents. It's an important thing for teachers and students. We really need to get it done. It's a legal mandate, and we're just hoping that the new administration, which has expressed a lot of positive statements about class size, will do the right thing. But we could use your help, as usual, in advocating for that.
And you know you got it. So let's move on real quick to AI. Tell us what's going on with the AI, Leonie, and this resolution that we got.
Right. Well, as people may or may not know, there's a real push to increase the use of artificial intelligence in schools across the country, including in New York City schools. And we've seen it rapidly expanding in many schools in the city and elsewhere. Now, 33 states and Puerto Rico, as well as many large districts, have released official guidance or guardrails on the use of AI in schools, but neither New York City nor New York State have any such guidance. We've been making a fuss about it for a couple of years now, and in June, Chancellor Ramos did appoint an AI working group to help propose and develop guidance and guardrails. But we've been completely sidelined. We've met only a handful of times, and all our work has been really hampered by the fact that DOE refuses to give us any information about what's happening in the schools. We asked for very simple information like a current list of AI products used in schools along with their privacy policies. And they said no. They said they couldn't give us that information because they had non-disclosure agreements with these companies. I don't know whether that's true, but if it's true, it's shocking. They refused to give us any access to the AI trainings that they claim to have provided to more than 80,000 teachers and other school staff. So why is AI use in schools so risky? Well, first of all, it threatens student privacy. AI companies are desperate to get their hands on as much data as possible for product improvement. They're already experiencing a shortage of high-quality data. And many of these programs, including the programs that are being used in New York City schools, data mine to improve their products. That means use the personal data of students for commercial ends, which specifically violates the state student privacy law and its regulations. One of the most commonly used products in schools is ChatGPT. That's probably the most popular AI program out there. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. Even though OpenAI, which is the company that produces ChatGPT, admits that their products have the potential to be used to identify private individuals when augmented with outside data. Reportedly, many New York City teachers are even using AI programs to write IEPs for students with disability, which have a lot of very confidential, very sensitive personal information. Some of the other programs that we know of that are used in New York City schools are Writable, Amira, both produced by HMH, which also produces Into Reading. Amira collects student voices, which is considered very sensitive biometric data. The state education department says schools must consider the privacy implications of biometric data, the impact on civil rights, their effectiveness, and parental input, yet no parents are being asked for their consent or even allowed to opt out of Amira. The HMH privacy statement on the DOE website links to a web page which explicitly says that the data may be used for product improvement, which violates the law. Magic School is another popular program that produces many AI products used in schools, including one specifically for the purpose of writing IEPs, and their publicly facing privacy policy says it's up to each client to check the privacy practices of its sub-processors, which include 5 different AI companies, including OpenAI. So there's also a lot of evidence that the use of AI may have a potential negative impact on learning. While there's no research yet on the long-term effects of AI, one recent study did show that students who spent time using ChatGPT for math did significantly worse on their exams. They concluded that using AI acts as a crutch, preventing students from fully learning or understanding the material. Another study showed a significant negative correlation between frequent AI tool use and students' critical thinking abilities. Many AI programs have been shown to offer false or misleading information called hallucinations with error rates of up to 79%. And yet another recent study showed that the use of AI undermines creativity and encourages group thinking. It also, of course, as you know, encourages cheating, and many teachers, including those in New York City, worry about how it's led already to more cheating and plagiarism, and over time could lead to the loss of reading, math, and writing skills as kids are basically doing their homework and writing their papers through AI. Experts, including those at OpenAI, have admitted that the algorithms used by their products can reinforce and reproduce specific biases and worldviews, including harmful stereotypes for certain marginalized groups. And one recent study found that there was indeed racial bias in an AI-generated behavior intervention program used by teachers. There are risks to mental health. There have been many stories out there on showing how children or teens who use chat bots produced by AIs show deteriorating mental health. Yeah, it can really hamper the social development of kids. In some cases, the use of chatbots has shown to be contributing to suicide among teens. We believe that the increased use of AI in schools, as well as screen time in general, but especially AI in schools, undermines collaboration, discussion, debate, and the sort of human engagement and interaction that's critical for quality education. And finally, last but not least, the rapidly expanding use of AI nationwide has caused the construction of massive data centers, which in turn has led to a surge in electricity prices, water shortages, and rising carbon emissions, exacerbating the climate crisis. So all of these things have contributed to growing concerns and opposition among many parents, students, and teachers in New York City, which contributed to the Panel for Educational Policy to rejecting several DOE contracts with AI companies, most recently in last October. And yet some of these products are still being used, even though DOE has no central contracts with them. And DOE has been ignoring our concerns and continues to push schools to expand the use of AI without parental knowledge, notification, or consent. So how can your community board help? We formed a new coalition of parent privacy and climate advocates calling for a 2-year moratorium on the use of AI in schools so that rigorous protections can be developed to prevent or minimize these harms. We're also asking our new mayor, chancellor, to create an expanded AI working group, and together with that group to hold public feedback sessions to hear the concerns of stakeholder groups. We have a petition calling for this moratorium and for public feedback sessions, which you can sign and circulate. I have the link here, but I'll also put it in the chat. And there's also a QR code that you can access. And I did provide a draft resolution to the community board today with many of these proposals and concerns mentioned in the resolution as well. And a similar resolution has already been passed by several CECs with hopefully more to come. So that's my presentation. Happy to answer any question. I see I've screwed up the URL here, but anyway, I'll fix it and I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go online first. Hector, our committee member is here. We have quorum. Yay, Hector. Hector, are you a panelist? You're a panelist, are you?
Yeah, he's a panelist. Hector, going once, going twice.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. I was speaking to myself. Um, Again, I apologize for not being there physically in person. I had some other obligations. First and foremost, thank you for providing this presentation. It was very insightful. My only question is, a part of my ignorance in the matter, I have a nephew that goes to PS 187. But in what capacity are students using this artificial intelligence? Is it like in the actual classroom?
Yeah, a lot of times it's in the actual classroom. A lot of times kids are using it at home to do their homework. A lot of times teachers are using these programs to grade and correct papers. You know, I have a nightmare vision, which I expressed a few years ago, which has completely come to pass, which is in many schools. I'm not saying in all schools. I'm not even saying necessarily in New York City schools, but I would imagine it's happening in New York City, that kids are writing their papers with AI, never having really engaged with the subject, and teachers are grading those papers with AI. And there's very little human thinking going into either of those processes.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I was muted. Sorry. Do it again.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the
Sorry.
invitation. I wanted to share a few good news about my organization. I'm Senior Program Manager for Jazz Power Initiative, the nonprofit uptown-based organization that looks to transform lives through jazz. And we do it through arts education and community performance. A quick thank you to Councilwoman and De La Rosa, who has supported Jazz Power Initiative. She gave us a shout out earlier. And in fact, I'm going to share a bit information about some of the programs that she has funded, like Jazz Power Kiddos, which is an introduction to singing for students from 2nd to 4th grade. It's the 6 weeks. It's during winter with an amazing artist called Sofia Toselo. So it's great. Little kids get to learn how to sing and how to present their voice and do the pitches. So it's like a great after school program for the little ones who, you know, like they always know that
Amazing.
they want to be like singers. And we also, for our core program, we have for 5th to 8th graders that they will have open auditions now for our after school program, which is going to go 14 weeks for spring. And that's 3 disciplines. That's singing, acting, and movement.
It's uptown based, which is the best part. You don't have to go downtown to get access to this type of training, which is where normally you find it. And they have access to all these great also artists. There are quintessential artists of jazz like Miss Antoinette Montague, Ida Yeaman, who is its artistic director and also amazing pianist. So I really wanted to share this great opportunity that we have for our community here, because it's also not only doctors and lawyers, but also actresses and singers. So if you know of any students that might be interested, any schools also that would like to learn about this, it's very low cost, only $25 for registration. The whole programming is free. And even for that, we also have financial assistance if families need so. Another quick note, we do in-school assemblies as well, which is a very lively way to introduce the program. So we go into the schools, we do 2 concerts back to back, 45 minutes. That normally is a value of $4,000, and it comes free to the schools. Thank you as well for the funding. As you said that it is very important to for organizations to find funding.
Yeah.
To be able to bring all this to the community, and thank to our funders, we can make this high quality programming for free. So if you know of any schools that would also be interested on hosting Jazz Power initiative, that would be great. And I also encourage you to follow us on social media, because besides that, we also have a lot of community posters. The next one that we have is in honor of Martin Luther King.
Oh.
It's called Many Dimensions of Martin Luther King. It's going to be on Martin Luther King Day on January 19th in Harlem School of the Arts. And we're going to have there also Antoinette Montague singing, Sophia Tosello as well, and our advanced kids ensemble called Cell.
Okay, well, make sure you send that flyer and
Yes,
stuff
yes,
so
I will.
we can.
Yes, I
Get
will.
it out.
I will leave
Yeah,
here the
please.
flyer.
Yes.
Stay where you got.
Yes, yes, you know him?
Is my guy, yeah.
Oh, great.
We've met in a couple of community workshops.
Okay, well, you should come for a concert. He's gonna be there playing as well. Okay, well, thank
Do
you
we-
so much.
Thank you. Do we have any questions online from our online folks? Crystal, Hector? No?
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Leonie. We got all the information in the chat that you sent. I knew it was- Mhm.
Nice to meet you.
All right. So, these 2 resolutions. Let's get to them since, let's go with the AI resolution first. I know that Stefan definitely overlooked it because he sent some friendly amendments that I have no problem with taking because it looks like it's all kind of grammar stuff. But if you wanna go over, the amendments like has, your pet,
Good night.
Good night. Let me know. Yes. Okay, yeah.
Good night. Let me see.
So, I think we're supposed to put it up on the screen.
Oh, sure.
Now, she showed me where it was. She really did. It's like on the side. Like over here. No, here we go. But it's not here. Yeah, it's not here. I don't know.
That's not open in the, Yes, huh?
Okay, so I don't know. It's my first time as chair. I don't know where I would want to put it up, but the members, you'll see it when we present it at what you call it, but y'all can definitely listen in for right now.
Thank you so much.
I see this, but I don't see.
Years ago, so I gotta circle back.
I don't see it. Okay, so we're just gonna go over it here and we'll figure it out next time. So we have 2 resolutions that we want to talk about briefly because we all went over them, thankfully. And so the first resolution is a resolution on use of AI in K through 12 public schools. We just talked to Leone, and Leone told us some of the concerns, and the concerns are the teachers and the students are basically using AI. Nobody wants to use their brain anymore. And it's a real concern because AI learns from us. And I don't think we've been teaching it very well. So, I guess we can all go over it ourselves for 5 minutes. And if we have anything that we want to change, anything that you see in there, grammar-like, Stefan already took care of it. And I'm seeing it on my screen right now, and I'm just accepting all of your edits. So let me know if you see that on your part, but y'all have the physical script, but y'all also have it online as well. I sent it to everybody. Oh, you went over it? Dee, so what do you think about the AI one?
Truthfully, I think, I don't know if a pause is the right thing for us, to be honest with you. If we're talking about inadequacies, how does it help us if, the other communities, especially African ones, are gonna be learning and getting much stronger and better than if we decide to put a pause on it, how we're helping our children, right? This is something that is clearly gonna be the way of life. Do there needs to be parameters? Absolutely. Should there be guardrails? Absolutely. But I think trying to stop it, and I know we're not stopping it, we're pausing it, but we're saying we're just trying to stop it for 2 years. I don't know if that's more help than harm at the end of the day, to be honest with you.
Okay, but I get what you're saying, but what we don't understand is that most AI programs, if you look at the whereas, this is one of the real reasons why we want to pause it to do it right. Most AI programs data mine personal students' information to improve their products in violation of the state student privacy law. So basically, when our kids use this and when it's used in the classroom, our data is worth more than gold and currency at this moment. And we're all giving it away. And we don't even understand that they use our data for everything. So whatever our kids use this for, and when they are allowed to sell our students data, they literally go and make things that they know that we will buy, things that they know our kids will eat.
Yeah.
So it's more about us wanting to make sure that AI is used responsibly, especially in the classroom, and also to protect the data of the children who are using AI. I don't know if y'all know, but we have had several breaches of our children's personal information in the New York City Department. That's why a lot of us don't do the DOE online things, where they ask you to sign up if you're a parent to get the information, but you have to put a lot of your information and your children's information in it. And the way that scammers work, they have been able to penetrate the DOE website, the DOE system a lot. That because they don't really put the protections in to safeguard our children's information. And everybody uses this information to source from us.
But when we say AI, and I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because it's blocked in schools. You can't use, like, at least ChatGPT. You can't use it if you're using the Wi-Fi from DOE.
This school computer.
Your school computer, like it's been, I think it's been years now. When it first, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years now, exactly, it's been blocked. And then in terms of like data being sold, I think we do that every day, right? Once we decided to get a smartphone, right? Absolutely, we made that trade-off. I think yes, we have to figure out how are we gonna make sure our teachers are using it correctly, because right, they may not be using the school, but they're probably going home using it, right? Teachers are short grading off that, children are doing their essays off that. Absolutely. Now, maybe it's like one of those things where how do we teach, maybe more so teaching our community how to use it correctly, right? Because if other kids in other communities are gonna use it and they're gonna get jobs and they're gonna get far in it, how we're gonna push our kids more back than what we already is something that we have set thinking. think about and consider very deeply before we want to have a pause or something that the world is moving on quickly on a daily basis. That's my only thing on that.
I'm kind of on the same boat. My son goes to a kind of school, and we have, as parents, we have a lot of workshop and training and presentations in terms of how the school is using AI. You know, teachers, administrator, and the kids, they use common sense, and they partner with common sense very closely to really have the whole thing monitored. And you know, I am with in the sense that AI is not going anywhere. And I don't think that, and I always have this conversation with my husband, he's a professor at Columbia University. There is always the trigger of when one of his students, who he had taken to the ethics committee, he clearly knows it's a student for a foreign country, doesn't speak English, doesn't ever speak at the school, and all of a sudden submit a fantastic paper, right? I always have a conversation with him on this regard. AI won't necessarily write the paper that you want to write. It depends clearly on the front. And in my organization, we have been working a lot on whether we use AI, how we use it, people use it anyway, how do we streamline it, how we put guardrail, to really support the system and use it in a way that really enhance what we do instead of being detrimental to us. Because at the end of the day, it's not so much AI doing the work for you, it's how we learn to use it as a tool. At the end of the day, ChatGPT, Claude, whichever we are using is nothing but a hammer. It's just a tool that we need to figure out how to use better, and that happens to training. I believe, as they just said, that other schools, whether they are private or in different districts, they are working on this probably better than other schools. And those kids are getting the skill to use the tool as a tool rather as a brain smushing and skill detrimental capacity, in a way that those who are left behind, once again, will have to catch up. So I'm really, when my husband comes to me on this kind of thing at the graduate level, I always say, ask the student for all the prompt. Ask the student for the interaction with whatever tool they are using, and let's see what is getting there. Because as someone with, who speaks a second language, I will use AI or Grammarly to check how I'm writing. Is that exactly how I'm saying it? With my own voice, with my own knowledge. This is what I know. This is how I want it done. And then let me see what AI do for me and how I can then tailor that to what I exactly want. I believe that we need to pressure DOE, whether it's at the state level and at the city level, to really come up with a partnership that makes sense to train the teachers, because that is mandatory. I don't necessarily completely oppose a teacher using AI to create an IPE, because as long as personal information is not created, is not provided, because if a teacher have 30 students in a class and they have to create, 5 of those plans and then go and, grade the rest of the paper and whatnot, we are not helping the teachers either. So to me, it comes down to what are the tools that we can provide, and we meaning as a society and as the DOE, that really can guide the teacher, that can really provide the privacy protection that is needed, in the sense that personal identifier data is not put into AI. That is a big no, regardless of what we are doing or what we are doing, or what we are doing with it. Then again, who are our partners, and how are we making those partnerships work for the teacher and our children? I wonder if I can share with you a training that our school did for the parents and caregivers, for us as parents and caregivers to understand how AI is used at the school. I thought it was very useful. Some of the kids actually in my school are refusing to use AI, not because of anything in particular, but because they prefer to try on their own and see, but they know how to use it. And I think that's what we have to aim for, to make it a matter of preference. Do I want to use it, or I just don't, for whatever thing it is? It has been proven that ChatGPT, it is not a good tool for math. it doesn't do math that great. That's why you have Khan Academy and some other stuff that can really help you with math instead of instead of any of the chat. And then that's the other piece. What are those things useful for? Do I want great graphic? Do I want a perfect presentation? Then I go with Claude instead of using ChatGPT because the graphic on ChatGPT, they just sucks. So I think it's a matter of learning and taking advantage of what is already here rather than banning things that, like they just say, I think it would be detrimental for our kids in our community.
If I may, I hear you guys, and I agree that AI is here to stay, and that it is a very useful tool for engaging with the world and being more efficient and effective. But I think that the pause allows this, the moratorium allows us to consider the right way. 2 years alone, correct. But it is, I think, more harmful to allow it to be used without guardrails currently to our students and their learning and their ability to navigate in the world, their ability to think independently, their ability to actually know the right way of doing things. It is more harmful to allow that to AI to be used rampantly than to pause for 2 years, because for tens of thousands of years we have been learning and teaching without AI. And we can continue to do that.
And we continue to learn anyway.
Right. But I think pausing AI usage in schools allows us to think about the right way of doing this for the working group to actually propose recommendations that would ensure proper guardrails and proper usage of AI in the classroom, allows teachers to be trained how to use it appropriately and correctly, allows the city to ensure that our data isn't being taken from our kids and from their devices without consent and being used for God knows what.
Because it's
that
not
affects all
supposed
of
to be
us.
that way. You suppose anybody that wants to sell your data is supposed to get your permission. We just don't know it. I don't care what app it is, what it is. It's just that we don't have the knowledge of how we go into our phones and say, no, you can't take my data. No, you can't take my data. Yeah, we still use our phones, but the data doesn't come from us making phone calls and stuff. The data comes from the apps that we use.
But we all have
The
them.
way that, but this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about schools, right? We're not talking about PT.
We are, because this is one of the app mentioned here. And
Yes, I'm saying that we're not talking about just that. We're talking about how AI has a lot of very dangerous things that can harm our students, like the algorithms and the reinforce and reproduce the specific bias and worldviews. I don't know if you've seen these AI things going around about Black women that are completely like racist and stuff of that nature. That comes from AI learning from what people are putting into it. Like, we're literally making AI racist against us and we don't even know it. So this is my thing. This is my big thing. We know that we have a lot of leaders, a lot of elected officials in place who have been in place, decades of elected officials and leaders that have not done the right thing. We, are still right now fighting for foundation aid upgrades, and foundation aid was created in 2007 and never had an upgrade. Foundation aid formula is the money each of our kids that's attached to each of our kids to get an education. They created that in 2007. They never upgraded it. They never thought about the index cost. They never thought about inflation. It wasn't until parents like us and community boards like us was like, hey, what's going on? We had to fight for almost 30 years to get that. So this is what I'm saying. While I hear what y'all saying about the world is going to keep growing regardless, what I'm saying is, if we don't put our foot down and demand, like I was saying, that they do it right, 2 years is not a long time in a big scheme of thing. As Stephen said, our children have been learning for a long time without AI. We don't want it to get out of hand. So y'all gonna vote the way that y'all want to vote, but AI is very, very, very dangerous right now. Not to mention all the water and all of the resources that it uses that will definitely, we fighting right now. We fought a pipeline.
We gotta be careful.
And here Kathy is talking about that.
We drive cars.
You drive
right?
this
And I don't like that either.
You know, those who
Because
eat meat-
cars,
I
not,
think-
I wouldn't say
but I
those
think
who
we're
eat
straying.
meat, but what we're saying,
I think
yeah,
we're straying from the point, and I think what this proposes, this resolution, is thinking through it properly to ensure that our
Mhm.
children have the best education possible.
This is not
so-
against AI.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I just don't want to get misconstrued. I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that, like, we gotta be careful recommending anything that unintentionally widens the gap.
The gap.
That's all I'm saying.
And that
I
is
think
what I'm seeing
reading
here.
here, it unintentionally widens the gap. We're not disagreeing. We have never disagreed about the safeguard. That is important. What we're saying is yes, 2 years. And I said 2 years in technology is a lifetime.
It's a lifetime.
It's a
It's too
lifetime.
much. It's really.
And we cannot disagree that.
You're talking to the girl who gives computers to our children. Over 1,000 of them. So I understand how important
No, yeah.
AI, I mean, I understand how important technology is, but why does it have to live in a school? Why isn't this something that we're saying maybe we should get together as parents? Why not?
If it's not a school, where will we teach it?
We have people that can teach about AI
Where are they
and
learning?
technology.
Is there-
Why is it the school, like?
My son is
There are-
my
there's
son is
some-
learning
sure
it
there's
at
some-
school.
I'm
My
sure there's
son
some
is learning
programs,
it
yeah.
at
There's a
school.
lot of
I'm sure there are some,
And
I'm sure
it's-
there are several programs.
But it's also, I'm gonna speak from,
Sure.
you know, when, I do believe, and it's not that my son's school is perfect, because I have a million issues with them.
And we can always amend the,
Right.
we can amend the.
That's what I'm
then we
saying.
can-
Yeah,
I'm not,
so,
also wanna make sure that I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I'm just saying is me watching what's going on, right? Just like the rest of you guys, me physically being there in the school, me being raised in this community. Like, I work with I employ 18 to 24-year-olds for a living.
mhm.
They have not learned in the system anyway right now. So they need AI because they need to catch up to society right now because they're falling behind.
I know,
They
but is
failed.
AI really the tool for them to catch
I
up?
think-
I guess what we need to define, and this is maybe a conversation we can continue.
Yeah, and we need to hold them
But-
people that were
but-
supposed to be teaching them accountable.
But I
You
think
know
we
what I'm
need to define
I agree with you.
what exactly is AI doing to catch them, what does catch?
But it's,
them
you
mean?
see,
Yeah.
here is
And
the
so
thing.
there are the intricacies of what are we talking about when we talk about catching up? And I do hear you guys when we say there are disparities that might be increased by not allowing.
It's
for
not
children
maybe,
to
it
learn.
will.
I understand.
It's not only, it's a
But what-
full-on
but-
unintended consequences.
Right, but
of
what I'm
this.
saying is, I think we need to be clear in our definitions so that we're all understanding what we're saying.
Mhm.
That said, if the moratorium is, I think there's a lot of good here.
Mhm.
And if the moratorium is a sticking point, then as
Then
Tanisha
what should we
said,
say?
maybe
Yeah,
we
then
need
what
to
can we
put
say?
That's my only point.
Yeah, so how can we change that to, to make this acceptable to y'all? So you don't want a 2-year moratorium. So what can we do? What can Community Board 12 ask Mayor Mandami and Chancellor Samuels to do that won't stop AI, but will put some accountability and
I would
transparency
say,
on it?
based on one's, workforce development and what we are trying to do in workforce development, it might, because this is across the board. One is to immediately release clear guidelines that protect student privacy, that really determine what is the training that teachers are receiving, who is doing that training and for how long and in what kind of capacity. We need to know that. As parents who have kids are in those schools learning, we should be demanding that our students have clear guidance as well on what and how to use this as a tool, because it is a tool. Nothing else but a tool. We should be learning as parents what are the different approaches and support systems that the school is going to provide for parents, not only to help the kid, but also to provide guidelines and to monitor the use of AI or Gen AI, because now we can even just say AI. Actually, I think we should amend this to say AI and Gen AI, because right now everything is Gen AI, not just AI. And really say, what tool us as parents can have to monitor that, learning process, to make sure that their privacy at home when they are using it at home, whether it's through homework research or whatever it is also being protected. And what is the role that as parents we should be playing there? Who do we go to as parents when we see a red flag, whether it is at home or when our kid come from any kind of interactions at school? So there has to be also this partnership between the school and parents in terms of how this is being used and how is it being taught. Because it is a both thing. It's not just using AI, it's also they need to learn how to use it as a tool. And we have to emphasize the fact that it is a tool that is not taking over our thinking process, that is not taking over the kid functionality, the kid curiosity, that is enhancing, if anything. And I come from a place of my school did a Sparkathon, whatever that is. And it was about making the kids responsible to how to use AI. And the idea was really for them to create anything that will prevent exactly what we are saying here. So my son, along with them, and they were certified as AI, whatever the certification was, along with Common Sense and other organizations that were there. What my son created with a classmate was an app that will allow and help students to somehow deter themselves from just plunging into AI and AI doing the work for them. So it prompts questions instead of here is your answer. It really forced the kid to review the work, make sure that they are asking the right question, make sure that they go to different sources for research and all of that. So at the end, I wish I could have it here and show it what it was, but by any means, it took a full half day for them to develop that, and they continue to play with it a little bit. That is a skill. It is a skill of developing a system that helps you do your work better rather than, safeguarding. And I think that when we try to prevent these things from happening, that is not the way for us to go. I think that we really have to demand
a clear implementation.
Tiana said, we got a comment from one of our public members. I think there is little research of the impact on kids, just like the harm of social media did on our children. There is also the issue of teaching about the consumption of natural resources to be able to have AI, and how AI will be taking so many jobs of the future. What we are doing in terms of investing in our schools to adapt to the changes that are coming because of AI. Children's brains are still developing. Thank you, Tiana, for your comment. I think all of that is valid. So can we change this to therefore be it resolved that the Community Board 12 Manhattan calls on Mayor Mandami and Chancellor Samuels to provide strict guidelines on the use of AI programs in New York City schools and provide the AI working group. The chancellor and the members of the AI working group should hold public forums. The working group should develop and DOA should adopt. And do we want to ask, work with parents?
I think we need to do parent education on this, guidelines on how parents can monitor the whole use of this. I mean, we are the parents. We cannot just leave it up to the school system
But why would we ask the school system to give us permission to do that?
It's
Like
not about giving us permission. It's really providing the training that parents will need to be able to monitor this.
I know that you have a good experience with one school. More than one school. Okay,
yes.
but we have a problem with the Department of Education implementing things well. That's why we just had a whole meeting about class size and the law that they're supposed to implement class size. And you see what they are doing? They are exempting schools from implementing class size. So I'm just saying, we have to be careful of how much trust we're putting into a $36 billion agency that already spends a whole bunch of money on things. I need, do you go to PET meetings? do you see the money that we spend on contracts for curriculum that our children will never learn? But people like me, parents fought for almost 10 years for culturally responsive education and sustaining education. You see how we got New York City Reads and New York City Songs now, and how they scrap 10 years of parents like mine work. So I say that to say, when we say, oh, chancellor and mayor, you should make the schools teach the parents. If that was, if I don't know how I'm trying to say it. If the schools was doing their job with parent engagement, because that's part of parent engagement, right? That would be part of engaging the parents, having the parents come in, and we all learn as a whole. But unfortunately, that's not the, and what y'all are talking about would be lovely if that's the society that we lived in.
No, I'm just talking about the pause.
Yeah,
No, I think
I agree with us saying something about parents should be involved.
Even if they do it or not, at least we demand that.
I just want to get somewhere where we all can agree. So do we all agree that we can say, therefore, be it resolved that the Community Board 12 calls on Mayor Mandami and Chancellor Samuels to provide strict guidelines on the use of AI programs in New York City schools and provide the rest instead of Antonio?
Yes.
Stefan?
Well, I think, so the purpose of the working group is to provide the guidelines, is it not?
That was what I understood by Liani's presentation, but that they have
But it doesn't say
something
it.
that shut down.
We could say that and, like here, if you look.
Sure. Yeah, I have it.
How it look, you're on the dot, so yeah. Yeah. So I think that's fine to provide strict guidelines on the use of AI programs in New York City.
And compliance training to teachers at least, like real training with trusted partner, because it's just gonna be anyone.
Instead of strict guidelines, can we say specific guidelines?
I think I use both strict and specific.
So I don't wanna, cause I think strict can be interpreted,
Rigid and
negatively,
negative.
so to avoid.
Clear, specific,
Clear guidelines are.
Okay, I put that in it. Be it resolved that the Community Board 12 calls on Mayor Mandami and Chancellor Samuel to provide specific.
Clear, I would say clear, so we can understand what it is and.
So clear guidelines instead of, okay.
Clear guidelines.
I'm doing the chat. Okay, Hector, you still here?
And for grammatical reasons, instead of and provide, and then the bullets, can we say and ensure? The AI working group can be expanded, well, the chancellor, would that make sense?
Where are you at?
The last.
We should develop. And DO should adopt.
Just here.
You in the last bullet?
No, just here, instead of and provide.
Therefore.
And ensure, let me say that. I wanna.
Read.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we agree?
Yeah.
That's okay, we can. Okay, so can I get a motion to vote on this resolution?
Second.
How many yeses? Who votes yes? I vote yes.
In favor as well.
Oh, both, these are for us.
Okay, and I think Hector, so that's 5, so that's quorum, so 5 ayes. Right? Zero no, 0 abstain, okay, great. Crystal is here. Crystal? What do you think about this resolution? Because you are a board member. I'm asking you to unmute. It's 8:57 on the clock. Cool, you know we care. All right, moving on. So that's the friendly amendment.
This won't be easier.
Well, it's the first, day of the year. So, it's the first, what you call it, of the year. So Stefan, giving you, editor power. We could just, and we can send that to Viola. Okay, so now let's go to our second resolution. Our second resolution is resolution in support of accountability, transparency, workforce stability, and safety across the New York City student transportation system serving more than 150,000 student riders. I think we could put that down. On student transportation system. Let's put that down. Right? So just that. Let me edit that on here too.
Redundant, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we had the presentation on everything that's going on with the school bus, right? We don't need to go over it. We all know that we want. We want.
Less controversial.
So no friendly amendments, everything?
No friendly amendment.
Okay, Stefan, so I made you editor, so I'm just gonna accept your edits. Okay, I need a motion to accept this resolution.
Second.
Ayes? Nays? Okay. Okay, so I will leave this for Paola and then we will send it over to her.
One thing I will flag is that we'll probably get a question at the general board meeting about the working group and who's in it. So we should probably get a response on that from Leonie.
Okay.
And probably how to join.
Or I have a new working group. They could come up with a new, it doesn't necessarily have to be, the working, just, the previous working group, or since we have a new administration, every time we get a new administration, they wanna come up with new, So, D, you got the minutes?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, it don't have to be, so I sent the template, put them in a template and then send it back.
I'm not allowed to, I don't understand the template. I don't understand, like.
Do we all have the template?
You all have the template. I email all y'all. Y'all will always
So
get
the
an
meeting
email
is,
from
I
y'all.
can stop the.
Oh, wait, hold on,
No, we have to end the meeting.
right. So that is the end of our meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Can I get a second? Thank y'all. See y'all. Thank you.
Sorry, I just wanted to talk at the end. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Is that still a possibility?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I am from Inwood Academy, and I just wanted to bring to your attention that I had sent a letter to the traffic and safety committees because we always have issues about safety around our school in terms of with crossing guards, not having crossing guards, the lack of crossing guards, staffing. For people we have advocated, our families had done in the past, a lot of advocacy to even, and they have actually done amazing things like changing the signage and the putting traffic lights and branding everything on the streets. But we still have issues. Our school gets mostly kids from the Bronx. They cross the bridge. We're on 207 and 10 between, and so when the kids are crossing the bridge from, Inwood, on 207, they cross on 9th Avenue or they cross on 10th Avenue, and those are intersections that are pretty big. And one of our kids got hit by a car. So it's 207 is not as close. I mean, that 9th is not as close to where our school is located, but at the same time, we have a lot of schools around us, so I am trying to figure out how to, and asking for as an advisory, advice from you guys as to how to go about it. We did have at one point our families even took classes to become crossing guards. We did end up having one parent becoming a crossing guard, but other parents who took the training ended up being assigned to other locations, not in our school. So we still had no crossing guards for us, but yes, other schools. So I'm just trying to figure out how to best support our families and making sure that our kids are safe. Even though we have our high school and our middle school, we do serve a lot of kids who are immigrants and kids with special needs. So even though they may be in high school and they may say, oh, they don't need crossing guards for high schoolers, our kids do need it because, again, we do serve a lot of kids with special needs. So, so I would love your help. I know it's the last minute and I couldn't get there, but I just wanted to bring to your attention that I did write a letter to Paola with this information sent to the traffic and safety committees. So I just, if you have any wisdom, I would love to hear so that we can, because our families are very involved and they like to advocate, and not just for us, because we have advocated for the nearby schools, like I said, and even for the housing development that is there. And now that we have on 207 so many new buildings, there's going to be more traffic and then more issues. So we can mobilize, we can, because like I said, we've done it in the past. We have gotten, there were elderly who were crossing the streets on 10th Avenue and 204, and they got hit by a car way back in 2019. And again, we were able to work back then was with Idanis Rodriguez to change some of the signage and because of the even from PS5 with the traffic coming so fast. So I know we can do it again, but again, I would love more advice on how to go about it, because sometimes it gets discouraging because we keep asking and then, it's just, there are things out of our control, like I said, but if there is any wisdom, I would love to learn about it.
Well, I would say the first thing is let's have a talk about it offline and see what we can come up with together. Since this is my first month as the chair of education, let me talk to Paola, and I would say have her forward the email to me as well. I put my email in the chat, and let's see how. I also would say have Alyssa came today with the parents to talk about the issues at Wynn. I would say for y'all to come too, whether it's online or in person, so that we have a public record of it first and foremost, so we can be like, oh, well, hey, what's going on over here? We have a whole bunch of parents and students who are coming and asking for our assistance because, it's dangerous over here where the kids are trying to go back and forth to school. Does that sound like a good starting point?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so let me put my email in the chat, and then we can figure it out. But I'm sure that I'm definitely down to make some noise. Is what I do. So
yeah, we'll definitely talk about it because we want our children to be safe going back and forth to school.
Thank you
I'm
so
sure
much.
my committee members agree with me. That's why we're all here. Okay. Okay, great. So anything else before we really try to adjourn?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let me know if you have my email in the chat.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so once again, motion to adjourn.